The other day, I went to IKEA. My family and I love IKEA. Well, this was the first time I'd ever gone to IKEA by myself. We had just moved into a house. We have just moved into a house from living in an RV for 4 years. And so we have no furniture. And I've been on Facebook Marketplace and several places to get free or cheap furniture because to replace a house full of furniture is a lot. Well, I wanted one of those calyxes, 5x5s. It just would fit in our homeschool room just perfect. So my husband couldn't come, my kids were busy, and so I actually went by myself, and it was so much fun. So I buy my calyx, I buy a couple of other things I needed, I stayed in budget, and I go back out to the truck. I had a young man generously help. He didn't look like a gentleman. He looked a little rough around the edges. But the men who walked past me that looked like gentlemen just did that. They walked right past me. And I thanked him profusely. I was so grateful. Could I have picked up the boxes? Sure, I picked up the first one by myself. They weren't specifically heavy. But it's the fact of accepting someone's help and encouraging someone else in accepting their help. Anyway, so I get into the truck and it starts, but it sounds funny. I'm calling my husband. I'm going to tell him we're going to be there or I'm going to be back in 55 minutes, and it dies before he picks up the phone. And I'm like, oh, lands. This truck gives us issues from time to time, and I'm like, all right, maybe it's water. I've just put enough fuel in. Our truck issues are beyond this video. So anyway, I ended up finally about 45 minutes later getting a hold of my husband because I hadn't gotten a hold of him yet. And he's like, why don't you let it sit for another 30, 45 minutes, go inside and get something to eat. So I did. And I found out why the truck died. So I got to encourage a mama. She was a little mama, and she had 5 kids. And her husband was there, and her panicky mom or mother-in-law was there too. And her kids were so well behaved. Not silent, not little robots, but so well behaved. But being kids. And they weren't screaming, they weren't throwing fits. But I got to go up to her and go, Mama, you're doing such a good job with these well-trained kids. And she goes, but I don't feel like it. I said, I know, but that's usually when you know you're doing a good job. The Lord wanted me to come over and tell you you're doing a good job. And she just teared up because we don't, as moms, tell each other enough how good we're doing. We tell each other, oh, you should do this. Well, why don't you do that? Instead of, you're just doing a great job.